We did not find direct evidence that Secretary Clinton's personal email domain, in its various configurations since 2009, was hacked successfully. But given the nature of the system and of the actors potentially involved, we assess we would be unlikely to see such direct evidence. We assess it is possible that hostile actors gained access to Secretary Clinton's personal email account.
The FBI director admitting bad actors may have gained access to Hillary Clinton's email server, but guess what? They're not going to charge her. For more analysis on this breaking story, I want to bring in Fox News national security analyst Katie McFarland. So I think the first question here is he basically said bad actors, he didn't name countries, bad actors had access.
Yeah.
Were we at risk?
Oh, yeah, we were absolutely at risk. I mean, you know, one of the things that has always been sort of swirling around the national security community is, was her server hacked into by Russia? Was it hacked into by Ukraine? Was it hacked into by China? Was it hacked into by Iran? And if so, were they reading her emails in real time while she was Secretary of State? In other words, were they privy to what her negotiating position might have been as she walked into negotiations with him? I mean, that's one explanation for why we've had such bad deals in the entire Obama administration.
And he did say that it was really impossible for them to know if the server had been indeed accessed. It just didn't have the forensic capabilities.
That's right. And here's why this was sort of a, you know, okay, so he's a lawyer. He's got to figure out how do we prove the case that they did break in, that they did hack, and that there were national security implications, and secrets were not only put at risk, but there were consequences of them. That's a pretty high bar.
Right.
The lower bar is the one to say, look, that was a pretty wide open server. A lot of people probably hacked in, a lot of countries hacked into it, and they probably were indeed had access to her conversations, and maybe even her conversations, not only going into a negotiation, but what was in the halftime. You know, you go and you have a negotiation, you come back and have a break. What was she sending back? What emails was she exchanging with her staff, with people in Washington about what should her negotiating position be? So, and that isn't even counting the potential revelation to bad actors of intelligence.
And that wouldn't even be, you know, those wouldn't even fall under the, you know, classified emails or confidential. Let me ask you about this. He did mention the Clinton Foundation investigation today, but that is also something that may haunt her, is haunting her. Let's talk about those countries that could be involved with the State Department and the deals that could be made.
I think you're onto something, because there were two investigations, not just the one that the Director Comey talked about today, but there's a second one still ongoing, and that's a criminal investigation into the Clinton Foundation and that Bill Clinton ran, and the connection that it had to the State Department and Secretary Clinton. So in other words, were countries or companies donating to the Clinton Foundation in hopes that they would get special treatment from Secretary Clinton at the State Department? And there's a book by Peter Schweitzer, and it really does lay out the case of Company X and individual X donated this amount of money. The Secretary of State made a decision in their favor, you know, months, weeks, months later. And so there is a connection, and that's the ongoing one. So I think here's what's happened. All of a sudden, the stakes for this election got a lot higher.
Would any of that information, though, be in these emails? I mean, they said basically that conducting this investigation over emails on these servers was like just dumping 1,000 pieces of puzzle pieces and trying to put it all together.
What they were looking for was something different. They were looking for, did she violate national security statutes about keeping and securing classified information? They were not looking over here. Over here is the criminal investigation. To me, that was always the most important one, and that one they've recently announced that isn't even going to come to the fore for another 18 months.
After the election.
After the election. So Secretary Clinton, President Clinton, President
Trump. What do you do?
Who knows? Big difference.
Katie McFarland, thank you for your analysis on this. Appreciate it. Good to see you.